everybody. This is Burnett with the Buyer's Box podcast, and today we have a very special guest, Chad Leonberg.
Hey, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Living the dream.
Right? You're living the dream in Pennsylvania, right?
No, Florida. We run in both
Florida.
markets. Yeah, I'm in Tampa, but I was originally from Pittsburgh, so we started the team there and we still run in both.
Okay, so I didn't make it up because I know I saw a post with you and Brian Riley, so I was like, I knew.
Yeah, and he runs a team there in Pittsburgh too. Yeah. That's my stomping grounds and where this all started. But it's funny, I actually didn't meet him until I moved out of Pittsburgh though. So I
That's
don't know how
funny.
that worked.
That's
Yeah.
how life works, right? Tell everybody a little bit about your team, your career experience to give a little background on you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the footnotes, because we could be here all day with backstory. So I would say, first year in, I sold 23 houses as a solo agent. The second year, I sold 60. So I need to form a team, is what we all think. Yeah, that's not a career. It's not a promotion. It's a totally different field, as I've learned over the last 10 years. So we scaled the team though through some bumps and bruises, and we got it up to about 160 units a year. I decided to move to Tampa from Pittsburgh in 2020, and did this little thing that some people do when they get successful and coasted on that success for a few years. Team fell apart, blew it up, had to restart it, but also launched in Tampa as well. And then we've rebuilt pretty much back to over 100 sales now a year and where we were before. So, but it's definitely been a climb um, back and building it the right way. So outside of that, we've partnered with about 150 agents at EXP too. So have ran an organization there in the 10 years I've been here too. So 9 different states and coached some agents across different states too. So that's been my real estate career.
Awesome, love it. And I will say, like, just from like watching on Facebook and everything like that, like you're still in the weeds, right? Like you're still dialing all those things.
Yeah, no, so that's part of what happened. I mean, I think like when you look at the 2020 to 2022, 23 era where I mean, there was the market, but I totally just I'm gonna work on my business instead of in it and enjoy all that stuff. Well, I felt a lot of pain eventually from that, and I got disconnected from the trenches. So yeah, I got back in. And I actually don't talk about it at the time, but when I realized I had to sell my first full year back in Florida, I sold about 20 homes. The sales price is better. I did 11 million solo. So and I that first time I did it, it was about 15 deals from cold hard, like dialing, leads. Internet leads has been my go-to from 2014 onward. Like the second day I got into the business, I started internet lead gen. Um, and then 5 were from SOI and kind of Facebook groups and local and stuff, and then the second year was so cool because like it flipped and I had 15 from the kind of referral and repeat and SOI and then 5 from the dials. And I'm kind of cool with 20 a year as I lead the team. So that's kind of my personal, but it was cool, I guess, when I look back now to prove, oh yeah, you can do it in a different market as you're on your own too. Because you do question yourself. You're like, was that a fluke back then? Or.
Right? Yeah. And we did that with North Carolina too. So we were like, I'm digressing, but it's okay. It's a podcast. You're supposed to talk. But
Sure.
we did that with North Carolina. So I got my license in North Carolina and I was like, all right, I got a zero database. Like, let's see, can I do it? Can I do it? Like, because you're constantly selling to agents, like, oh yeah, we have all these leads. Like, we can pump you up 100K a year, all those things, right? And I was like, okay, let's try it out. And I got a pending in 30 days. So I was like, it works, So, and one thing I want to talk about today is we talk a lot about the calls, we talk a lot about the conversations, and you're all about mindset. Can you tell us a little bit about the mindset that you teach your agents and coach other agents around like the appointment and getting it to the close? Because ultimately, that's what gets you the paycheck.
Yeah. So, I mean, every training you're in, we coach so much or we hear so much about the how, right? Like the how to do the follow-up, how to nurture, what to say, this magical objection handler, and we don't focus enough on the what and the why. My team, I'm curious what they got. I mean, they must love it. We have a good huddle attendance rate, but every morning it's me in there with mindset. It's like 90% mindset with me, because I found that's what moves it for me. Like, so I don't know if I have a one size fits all when it comes to that. I think it's been very different every day. Like I live in constant stress because every morning, Monday through Friday, I've got to come on to our huddle. We have a 15-minute huddle. Sorry, Monday through Thursday, my bad. We do the huddle Monday through Thursday. And I have to bring something relevant, particularly in mindset. It's a mindset-based huddle. We want to get the day started right. And it's just different. You know, some days I have to go to um something we know, like sports, right? The first time you stepped out on the field, you had no idea what the rules were. You didn't know this advanced technique and all this stuff. And then a reminder of like, I'm hockey. I played hockey my whole life. Like garbage goals score in the playoffs. Like that's like you could have this amazing, skilled deke and crazy through the legs, wild stuff. It's like how many of the goals are actually scored that way? Like the one that's just shoved in from the random, like those are what win the playoff games. Like and those are what stack up. So we'll go there, or some days um we'll have to go to why we got into. So I'll just go to what I did this morning. I think instead of being vague, I think it's best to just go there. So this morning I got on and we took a quick trip over the last 2 days. We're getting a puppy on Friday.
I love
So
it.
before that, we're like, let's go. Before we have to figure out, oh, who's watching the dog?
The
We're
baby's
like,
coming. The
let's,
baby's coming.
right. What am I getting into? So I know everybody gets into real estate for freedom, right? So, well, I wanted to demonstrate what that looked like because I've been doing this since I was a solo agent. We used to go take like a Tuesday, Wednesday trip to an indoor water park, like just to get away cheaper. We'd get like $99 and you get access to the water park. It was awesome. But I would say tell people that, and I wouldn't understand how it actually works. So I narrated today on our huddle, from 7 a.m. until 6. Like, okay, I got on, I did the huddle with y'all. I went and I put this deal together and did this and that. I had 4 appointments that I did. Brittany drove in the car while we were going over to Orlando. We have universal annual passes, so we used that. We used points that I've added up on my credit card to book this stay at this Marriott that had a water park. The next day I woke up, I had to hunt for a spot downstairs so I didn't wake the girls up, let them sleep in. I got caught up on my emails from 7 to 8. From 8 to 8:45, I called any, leads or things I had to do. I ran the huddle, at the hotel. Like I ran the huddle. I still did that. I didn't have to. I didn't have to wake up and do that, but I chose to keep my business moving forward. From 9 to 11, I dialed. I actually went on and I did more dials than most agents will do in a month in those 2 hours. And then from 11 onward, we went to the water park. I was able to have moments with my kids. And that's how you keep your business moving if you're doing those core fundamentals. But like when I come back, the original question of mindset, it's like, it's exposing like, hey, you can have the things you want if you're doing the core fundamentals, there, like, and demonstrating it. So, I think it's a big mix of a lot of things, but putting it into words is hard. It's going where you need to in the temperature of the current climate, and then being transparent around what I'm actually doing in the micro and not some vague like reel that I pulled from from TikTok or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, right. Everybody in
yeah,
the Shep community, like if you follow anybody in the John Shep Black community, they're like clarity, clarity, clarity. Like I know that I could ask basically anybody that has been hanging in the circle for a while, like, what are your goals? And it's going to be like boom, 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 boom. And those are the successful people. And like a lot of the people are very transparent, right? So like if I were to say like, hey, like what's your why and why are you doing it? Like I'm sure that you could very clearly say that. And so I think that that is important and just it's almost like a sport. Like real estate's its own sport.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, and so you brought up that's the best point with mindset is like, and I've just watched it coaching agents and maybe even myself. Like if your why is strong enough, and we hear that, but like how deep have you gotten with it? And I know because we do this fun exercise where we do goal planning called Go to the Board that I'm sure you've done as well. And you get people up there, and it's like, okay, if you hit this goal, what changes in 12 months for you in your personal life? And so many of the answers are well, I'll have more freedom or less stress. What does that mean? What can you do that you can't do right now? And when it's not well defined and people, tiptoe around it, the same thing happens with their action. They tiptoe around the action, or it's just sporadic, or when they feel like it. Like, but when you have something that's embedded in you that's strong enough, in the beginning it was probably different for me than it is now. I just probably want, to simplify it. I don't think I defined it back then, but it was just I had a burning desire to change the level of my legacy in the chain. Like we were here and I wanted to have our family here, go further with not just income, but the things that we leave and the people we're around and that stuff. And you kind of get that and then you have to set a new one, and that's where that pain came in. Um, but then what I found for me now, and it just moves me everywhere I go. It's why I'll do anything like this or anything at all, is like real estate created a vessel for me to become a better person. I was in a band before. I played video games and just sat behind a computer and was like
Okay.
looking for cheat codes all the time. Like there was like these versions of me, right? Well, real estate, because it exposes so much of you. It's a freaking mirror, this business, and it's not an instant gratification. It teaches you patience, it teaches you discipline, it teaches you all the things I think like sports can do as well. It created a better version of me so far through my life, and I am just driven to let that happen for others. But are they willing to do what's required? Is always the question. I can't control that part. But yeah. So when you come to mindset, it's like people operating without a compass. Do that. You've got to get their compass right first, and we spend 90% of the time in the rah rah and all the fun stuff.
Yeah, but I think it's important because it's like, what are you doing it for? Because it's very easy when you're working from home and then all of a sudden you're like, beep, beep, the laundry's ready. You're like, I'm going to fold my laundry now. Oh, time to pick the kids up from school. And then it's like you look back and you're like, oh, I didn't do anything today. I'll get to it tomorrow. So like that's the thing. So it's like if you're constantly putting your why in front of you, you're like, oh yeah, I really wanted to do blank, 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 blank. And I can't do blank, 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 blank unless I do blank, 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 blank. So to the agent that's out there, the single agent that maybe hasn't done this before, like, can you kind of run me through the questions that they should be thinking about?
Yeah. So the first is you do have to have some sort of a target because and I'll get the, well, money's not that important to me. Well, here's how. Okay, so if you sold zero, how, like, I just want to help people, right? So you help people, they felt really, really good about it. You gave them good advice and you sold zero houses in 12 months. Would you be happy with where your business is? Right? Like, hopefully the answer is no, because I'd imagine you're not doing this for total charity. And if you are, that's fine too. But like, I imagine we need to pay the bills. So, getting clear on what that number needs to be for you to make a living so you don't have to manipulate people. Like, John says this a lot about not being a hostage. And that is the absolute truth about this business. You don't want to be a hostage to sellers who won't get realistic about price or buyers who are trying to buy this for that. I've been there. You don't want that. Can you help them discover through there? Sure, but you've got to have, and then if they are there, you don't want to get in a space where you're manipulating people too. Like that's the other problem. It's like, well, I don't want to be in sales because I don't want to manipulate people. Okay, cool. Then you need to go talk to enough people so that you're not trying to manipulate the small size that you have in front of you, right?
Sure.
So that's the simple thing. But once you get that all clear, you need to be honest with self. Like, I'm committed to this. Okay, cool. So commitment is defined by the result. That's what we got from John, and that's one of our principles along this team is what are the results saying about your commitment? So we have a standard, like a lot of teams do, of 22-minute conversations a week.
Same.
Okay, good. Here's the cool thing. 3 out of my 20 agents have hit that all year, every week. Give them 2 weeks off even, because I say take 4 off a year, right? One for sick, one for vacation, one for this, one for that. So, sorry, 3 agents have hit that out of 20 all year. Now, I bet they didn't feel that way. Some of the other ones that didn't hit it, they're like, well, I had this big week or I had that big week, right? But when you look at the actual consistency over time, there was only 3 that did. The numbers don't lie. Those 3 are on track for their money goals. So you're committed to it. Okay, great. But what do your actual day-to-day actions, like if you put a body cam on you, like what does that say about your actions? Especially for me, like with my wife and kids, I'm like, what if they watched what I did all day? Like, if you're listening to this, you're getting into a business. The best part about it is freedom. The worst part about it is freedom. So, how can you set up your day to day, whether it takes an environment and an accountability partner, like a daily text, whatever the hell gets you moving? Like, what can you set up that holds you accountable to being committed, like you said you were, on the days you don't want to do it? Um, Do you have that ridiculous amount of stress like me to bring it to the huddle every day? Do you have your wife who is the best accountability partner in the world where she will ride me if I, don't do what I said I was going to do? Do you have a
Andrew would
great
say that.
team? There you go. The team is there. Like that's, people, yeah, I could go so many ways with that, but like, so here I go digressing, but the agent, they need to have clarity on where they want to go, honesty with self about their level of commitment towards that. And it's really, really important when you go to honesty with self, like not when you're in this on this podcast or in the Zoom or on the this or on the that, like with yourself right in here. Um, and then just do the freaking thing, you know, like that's it. Um, like winners execute regardless of circumstances. Like so you didn't have, you're in the playoffs and you don't have the right line mate you want, and that doesn't, whatever. That's the deck of cards you were dealt. Like that's the hand you're dealt. You've got to play that hand. How are you going to play your hand? Um, so I hope that helps. But like
No, it
that's the
does.
stuff that matters.
No, it does. Well, and a couple things that come to mind too is like sometimes circumstances can suck, but it's like how much are you committed to it? So like I know that my level of commitment is like our daughter, she's been chronically sick for 2 years. Like there's been plenty of times where I've ran meetings in the hospital room. So it's like, are you willing to make the commitment? And is the commitment worth it to you? To me, it is. Like, because it's aligned with like our goals and what we want to do and how we want to help people. But sometimes it might not be strong enough, right? Because if you were just maybe like a single agent out there, you may not want to get on the conference call if your kid's in the hospital. And we're not the type of team leaders that are going to force you to either. Like, we also respect those boundaries. So it's like, how anchored are you into what you're doing? And maybe you're not, because there was some time where Andrew and I had to like, you'll laugh. We go back and forth. Like even to this day, we still go back and forth where he's like, "This isn't very profitable," and I'm like, "Yeah, running a team is not that's the most profitable thing you can do. Like if you want to be super profitable, let's be single agents." And he's like, and so it's like, but that's not our why. It's definitely not my why. Like I don't really care about selling real estate, and I'll admit it every single day of the week because that's not real estate is not my passion. It's just a vehicle for me to help other people. Um, I know that I could do this in other industries too. But anyway, back to the original thing of like, even with our agents, when they're like, I don't know why, and you'll probably laugh because this happens to you too. Anytime I interview an agent, I'm like, how much, what are your goals? What are your income goals for the year? I would say 7 out of 10 times the number I hear every single time, 100,000. I don't know what it is about about that number. Maybe just like hitting the sixth digit that everybody's like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay, well, how much are you making today? Like, what can you live off of? Like, put the food on the table, roof over your head, and you can continue to live. Because a lot of times that number is not, it's not 100. It's like the stretch goal. So then it's like, okay, and I can back up the math enough with our leads to know in order to make $100,000, you're gonna have to sell blank amount of houses at this price point. And based off what you're telling me, they're probably not gonna be at this price point, so it's gonna be this. And like breaking it down all the way down because I run into so many agents that are like, I want to sell 30, 40 homes. I'm like, okay, how long you been selling real estate? 1 year. It can be done, but the numbers don't always support it. And like for the numbers to support it, the time also has to support it. So how are you talking through that, like with your agents? Because I'm sure that you struggle with that too.
Yeah, I mean, the math. I'm a big numbers nerd, and there's a couple key points we work with, but I always try to leave with simplicity on it. I had an agent that wanted to make six figures, a little tad over, and we did the math, and I always give them a number, and it was 12 conversations a day, 5 days a week. That's what you got to hit. That might be more than some need, but I need to guarantee a result for a new agent. I don't know where the skills are going to be. I don't know until I've seen, game film. Like what the heck, So I've got to give them a real, like that's like, I think about that a lot, and it's heavy as leaders. I'm sure it is for you too. Somebody's coming to you wanting to make this income for their life, and you have to give them like basically a guaranteed plan. Like you're out of integrity if you don't focus on
Sure.
what gets them there. So I said 12 conversations a day. But here, and a lot of people have watched him on our team, and they just think it's like nothing. But it's like what they don't see was the constant battle of staying focused. So like, week one, and this will go into the skills too, which will be good. We have 5 basic steps on our call: intro, criteria, motivation, devil's advocate is how we get timeline, and then set a next step or an appointment, right? like a clear next step. We call it next step, but appointment is what most people call it, right? Um, those 5 steps. So we were stuck in intro. He was tweaking it a little bit, right? Hey, this is such and such out in this area. How you doing today? Hey, I'm the one sending you the listings. Just want to double check and see if you're still looking, right? Well, he was just like, hey, I'm sending you listings, just seeing if you're still looking. Well, whoa, whoa, whoa. We did it a 2-part. You're not doing what I said. Do it this way. Okay. Then they gave the objection. Taught him how to handle it. I made all these calls. Now they're telling me they're not interested. I say, well, say, is that because they put it on the back burner, or you already found what you're looking for? Oh, okay. And then okay. And then he goes through asking criteria, and then they ghosted me. They didn't show up on the appointment. Did you get motivation? Oh, I forgot to ask that. How'd you ask it? And we just kept going, like week after week. And then, even once he got good, it was, well, I'm doing this, this, and that. Did you hit your 12 conversations today? Oh no, I'm at 4. Right. But this is one of our 3 who he actually hit 60 conversations every week, minus 2. One week he was sick, and one week he went on vacation. He
Um,
hit 60 conversations a week every week since then. I mean, has I think 6 closings in his first 6 months. He had 4 under contract, 4 listed, and he has a healthy pipeline. I think there's no way with his pipeline he's not going to hit the 6 figures. He's on pace, but he executed all that. But he remained he he heard the plan. His attention got distracted. He had to have somebody keep him accountable to staying, to the 12 a day. That's all I talked about with him. Where's the 12 a day? Where's the 12 a day? We didn't talk about anything else until we've had that. Okay. Once we had that, we could dive into the skills, and we corrected those. And he asked a lot of questions, and he was just open. So he stuck to the process, asked questions. Um, and then the other key piece was that last part of the call, that where I said, so we talked a little bit about intro criteria, motivation. Um, Devil's advocate, like I think we want to help people, but we're scared to go there. Like this happens for us as team leaders, but agents need to know this is the case for their buyers and sellers too. They're leaders. Our agents are leaders. They are leading buyers and sellers to make some of the biggest life choices they're ever going to make. So that last piece, like first you got to have enough action so we can look at this. And he did, right? But then we had to see, are you leading people through this process? So that devil's advocate, it's like, all right, we found the blah, blah, blah house, right, in this area. And you can then you've gotten motivation. You can downsize. So you're not cleaning 4 bathrooms. You're cleaning 2 now, right? That's really, really important. That's what's nagging at you. And I find it next week. Are we going to look at that, or is that too soon? Right? That sounds simple, and you might have heard it in some different script areas before, but we make sure that is asked every time, because that's going to tell you much louder than, well, what's your time frame? What's your timeline like?
mhm.
So getting that and then taking a clear next step from there. If they're truly 6 months or a year out, like, why are we going to see houses this week? That's not going to make sense. Why are we pushing for that, or what? Um, But if they are, like, yeah, I would go look at that. Let's go for it. Let's go. So first it's like diagnose what they're looking, like, are they looking? What are they looking for? Why are they looking? Okay, well, if it comes up, are you going to make a move? All right, cool. And then let's set a clear next step plan. So, and this is the big one. I heard the story from Barry Jenkins. I think Sanit might have told, no, Barry Jenkins did it on one of Chet Black's calls. And I took this a while back, and I ran with it. And I tell the story all the time with our team. I think he had the AI data that on 3 out of 10
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
conversations, they asked for the appointment, right?
Yep.
They raised it to 8 out of 10. He was shooting for 10 out of 10. They had 60% set the appointment. They thought that would change when you went from 3 to they went to 8, and it didn't change. It's because we're scared to ask. Like, so we'll spend, like, so you come back, like, you get your mindset right. Whether you're in a team environment like yours or ours, right? You come on our meetings and you get your mindset right, and you actually do the thing, and you call the people, and you had a good conversation, everything went right, and you're just too scared to then ask for the business, and you wasted all that effort, and you go through the cycle, and then you go, you know what, Allie, this doesn't work. This is a bunch of BS. This doesn't work. that asking for a Google Meet is what we do primarily. Like that, we focus very,
Hmm.
very heavy on going to a Google Meet. What would bring you the most value right now? You told me all this stuff. Let's just jump on a quick Google Meet. Let me share my screen. Let's pull up a Google map. Let's make sure we got this dialed in right. So that I'm not way out here in left field. Like you have to be agreeable with people. I don't want to email you a bunch of stuff that you throw out, in your spam. Like I don't want that. I want to be relevant to you. If you give me 15 minutes, you told me this is important to you. I just want to jump on this so I can share my screen and we can get on the same page. Um, what would get in the way of doing that tomorrow at 4, and setting that final appointment? So that final piece. So, going through those, making sure we're having all 5 of those checked and you're having those 12 conversations daily. There's nothing else to talk about. Like that's just is what it is. But you have to have the action and the skills put together.
And what
That
are
was
you
a
seeing?
lot.
No, it's okay. No, I love it. And then what are you seeing on, you told me the numbers earlier before we got on. What are you seeing the numbers on appointment to show to close?
Appointment to set to met, we get 50%. If you're above that, I'm good with it. If you're under that, I'm looking at how you set it. And I'll finish that, but briefly, I had an agent once where she was not, it was like, well, we need to get together and have a consultation, and I'm going to go over the process and the blah, blah. And I was like, this sounds like we're going to school. Um, I Nobody wants that. This needs to be a lot lighter. Like, hey, you know what? I'm in your like she was going for coffees. Hey, I'm in your area tomorrow. I just want to pull out my laptop, make sure that I got the search dialed in right. If you got 15 minutes, I could even pull up a Google map, make sure we're by your restaurants and like shopping that you need to be too. If we have time, we can go over the market stats. Do you have 15 minutes? I could meet you at Starbucks over there in blah 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 town. She changed that. She went from a 25% set to met to a 70% set to met,
That's
right?
good.
But you need that. This is why the math is important. So you know what to coach. Like, so 50% above, I don't need to mess with it. You don't need to be 70%. 50 is fine. It's normal. And then met to close 1 out of 4. If you're closing 1 out of 4 people you meet with, totally fine with us. We don't think it's a skill issue. Um, and I had one other really, really good point I wanted to make about the set to met. Oh, we also did this clever equation where we took the appointment set divided by income paid out to our team members after splits, after broker, after everything. Everything.
Got it. So every appointment is worth how much on your team?
$70.
Hey,
Whether they show or not.
there you go. Yeah, I like that. We'll have to put that together. And I think one thing just kind of talking on mindset is, and we coach our agents on this all the time. Unpopular opinion, showings are not a revenue generating opportunity. They're not if
Mm.
they're not qualified. So it's like I think agents get so excited, like showing, 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 like let me show all these houses. But if the person's not qualified, they're not motivated, you didn't figure out the right things, they're not pre-approved. I had one agent that texted me. I love her to death. She texted me and said, "Hey, Allie, I just got a message from our lender and they said insert client name was not approved, but they want to go see 3 houses on Wednesday. What should I say?" Like,
Yeah. Well, so there's twofold to this. Like one, I don't I get what you're saying.
and you probably
But I
have a
think
different opinion. I said unpopular opinion.
you're right in a different way though. Like it, it's not a money making activity if you're not asking the proper if you're not leading. If you're Uber, just got the request and I'm driving there, like yeah, that is not a generating activity, but like you got to ask the right questions. So aside from obviously the obvious ones, right? Like, can you actually do this? Like that kind of stuff. And you have to find the right way to ask them, that instead of, hey, are you pre-approved? It's like, hey, have you talked with any lenders yet? That's a non-threatening way to ask somebody. You've got to find a way to be agreeable when you ask questions, I've found. But
Sure.
here's the other thing. I've been there. So we're real big on the top 5. So when we have a buyer that we're showing 5, 10 houses plus, and we start to see it going, we're going to get to the 20, 30, 40 showings and we ain't going to find anything type stuff. We're just seeing the same thing over and over. We do the top 5. So, and I've done this with friends and family. I do this with everybody. Here's this little script. And we say, hey, Mr. Buyer, we have this saying on our team that accountability is the highest form of love somebody can show you. We do that in the team, but we also, want to make sure that we're doing that with our clients as well. And we have this little framework. It's just called the top five. So if you could only pick five things that this house has to have, five boxes it has to check, what would those be? And you shut up and you make them go through it. Okay. This is really, really big, and we've used it so many times. Once they've repeated it all and got it clear, this is all verbal. You can do it in person, you can do it on a phone call, you do it at a showing, whatever. Once you get it clear, say, okay, so you repeat it back to them. You want this school district, this many beds, baths, right? You go through it all. You email them after. This is important. You email them after you got it. Hey, awesome seeing you again at our showing today. Awesome meeting with you for coffee. Whatever. These are the top five things you said that we need to have. The reason you put it in an email is it's like an unwritten psychological agreement. Then the next house you show them that checks all these boxes, you reply to the email after the showing. Hey,
Mhm.
John, it checked all these boxes here. I don't want to look dumb. What am I missing? Like, what's going on? I don't want to look like I can't do my job, and we're seeing houses and it's not shit, So these were the boxes I have. Is there something different here? So I had a buyer. We had seen about 21 houses at the time. We did this. We removed the pool requirement from the house because the pool homes were just dated at the price point. That was more important than them staying on the price. When we removed the pool, five houses later, we were under contract. And I know if I didn't do that, we were going to see another 20. Um, and that's what they need. Like, okay, we're
Yeah.
talking on this. Oh, that makes us more money. Well, how about saving the client time and giving them clarity? How about their time, right? Like, so that top five, like Carrie, she's been on my team for 7 years. She sold 30 houses last year. Amazing agent, so good. But she laughs because like every time she'll have a buyer client where she'll be stuck there showing a ton of houses. I say, Carrie, did you get the top five? She's, no. She'll go do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think we're aligned there. We're saying the same thing. One, that's a skill, it's a skill gap and it's a mindset gap because the mindset gap is, who I don't want to make this person upset. Like I don't want to tell them no.
Yes.
Like I don't want to be the bad agent. Or like some of our agents are like, who I'm scared they're gonna call another agent. And I'm like, let them, So it's like it's fine. We have an abundance of opportunity. Do everything you can to help someone. However, you have to have the mindset of it if I can help this person, it's a blessing, it's awesome, it's great. I'm going to do the best I can. However, I don't have to help that person for me to reach my goals. So, I totally agree.
Well, and coming back to the beginning, I said be honest with self, right? So you want to help like everybody that gets in this business, a new agent, aspiring agent. I know because I hear this all the time. And I'm sure you do too. You want to help people and good. You should like I'm not making fun of it, like 100%. But what do your actions say about it? Are you willing to go there to actually do what's required to help them? Because helping them, like accountability is like somebody, taking your keys away from you at a party or saying, "Hey, you're acting real weird. That's not your normal you." Like that's why we call it the highest form of love. So like I had a buyer out a couple weeks ago and they were a really qualified buyer, $1 million price point, young couple, great, we had been doing a good bit of showings and we finally got there and this one house and they said to me, Chad, is it just impossible to buy a house today? Like I don't understand, like, housing affordability and blah blah blah. And we feel we're really qualified and blah blah blah. And I said, we had seen about 25 houses. I said, I like kind of chuckled and they're like, what? And I was like, I'm not saying affordability isn't harder today than it has been in the past. Sure, that's true. But your problem is the same problem that's existed when I got in the business in 2014. It's probably existed since the dawn of time. They're like, what's that? You want this for this.
No.
That's all I said. The next day, they sent me a house and we went under contract because I
You're
told them
honest.
what they needed to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why Andrew's better closer than me because I'm like a self-proclaimed people pleaser. But I've been working on it. But like I've been working on it. But I will say when it comes to like the metrics and the numbers, like I'm very math-based like you are, and I'm just like, did you do it? Oh, you didn't do it? Okay, when are we gonna do it? And you're gonna do it on what day and at what time? Okay, great. I'll text you after. Like that's easy, but it is hard to have those tough conversations. Definitely want to wrap it up. Don't want to take too long. Supposed to have short, tiny episodes, but
Sorry.
um,
That's me.
yeah, I know, me too. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah. I mean, so when it comes to mindset, one of the other things I would add in there is that um, what can you eliminate? Like, what do you have to clear off your schedule, your mind, your world? So you can do the thing. Like if you have something that's getting in the way of doing the basic fundamentals, whether it's open houses, making calls, networking events, whatever it is, what do you have to eliminate in your world so you have more time, more clarity, more effort, more energy to do that thing? So if you take something away from this, what can you cut out instead of what can you add? That might be your biggest lever you can pull.
Or trade. So one example I'll use is I love Pure Bar. Love Pure Bar. And the
Hmm.
problem is it's like 25 minutes from home. So it was taking me like 25 minutes to get there, an hour of the class, 25 minutes to get back, then you got a shower. So I was losing like 3 hours of my day because I really wanted to go do Pure Bar. So like now I just try to like watch for the pop-up classes or whatever, but like now I have to go to Crunch at 6 in the morning, which that was a trade a trade-off I had to do to get everything I wanted done during the day. Like, do I still miss it? Do I when I drive by, I'm like, like I'm like sad, like I want to go to Pure Bar, but that's what I had to do, and I still get the mission accomplished of okay, I'm working out, but it's adulting, I guess.
Well,
So
you're committed and you know everything you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. So you're it was a debate of which yeah, which yes, where it was going. That makes sense. So good. That's real. That's good.
thanks. I'm gonna come back to Pure Bar. I really am. I've been like waiting on a Pilates studio to open up, and there was one, but it's still kind of far from home. Anyway, that's all we have time for today. I appreciate you for coming on, and hopefully have you back soon.
Thank you.